mustard, celery, sorrel, wine vinegar, and the dreaded fish sauce, which the Romans put into absolutely.
Oh yeah, they fermented
everything.
it, didn't they? And kept it for years and years.
And it stinks and
Yeah.
it's repulsive, and that's why I've actually got some, but I'm not putting it on the table because the smell puts people off.
Right.
This is a Romano-British.
Sauce.
I didn't
Yes.
know that Britons had fish sauce.
Oh no, we didn't.
Romans.
This is my Romano-British.
Yeah.
We're an overlap.
Thank you very much.
I didn't put it in cakes. I mean,
Thank you.
So that was introduced by the Romans.
yes, the fish sauce was introduced.
Are these free now?
Well, actually, they're all dinner, but you can try a bit of bread if you like.
That's some bread. She's doing a school project.
Yes, certainly. What would you like to know?
What's your name?
Well, I can tell you anything you want about this. My name's Mary. She's a Welsh name, actually. This would be the sort of food that would be available at this time of year because we're just starting to get the greens coming in after having a winter with no green vegetables. This is looking rather shriveled because it's been in the sun for a while. But we've got beet leaves, we've got red chard, spinach and sorrel. This would be the food we've been eating most of the winter. This is split peas, lentils.
That you grow,
Yeah, this would all be grown.
but you don't grow.
Not at the moment. We've just got a piece of land made available to us and we will be growing it in the future. But we've got here, this is linseeds. That's what linen comes from. And it was also used as a food because it was used to thicken soups and stews to make them a bit more filling in the depths of freezing cold winter with no central heating. That's juniper berries. Now that is actually quite interesting because although they didn't know about germs, they did know that if you ate dodgy meat, you got ill. And this has got an antiseptic in it. So if the meat was a bit dodgy, they'd stick juniper berries in it. This is coriander. Now, they've grown this in this country since Neanderthal times. They've actually found burnt seeds in Neanderthal sites. They think they used to burn it for the scent. This is barley. This is dried onion. And onion at that time was very tiny, really tiny little onions, as you can see from this.
They cultivated.
Well, it started off as wild onion, but it's a fair bet they would have cultivated it rather than spending half the day roaming around the countryside hoping they came across some. This is celery seed, this is poppy seed, these are lentils, and these are quite interesting lentils because, as you can see, when you take the husk off, they're bright yellow inside. So when you cook them, if the husk doesn't come off, they stay this blue-greeny colour, but if the husk does come off, they go bright yellow. So you get a multicoloured lentil dish, which actually looks quite pretty. It's a shame to eat it sometimes. This is mustard seed. These are roast hazelnuts. You'd roast the hazelnuts around about this time of year because the oil in them would be starting to go a bit rancid, so you'd roast it to stop it from going off any further. That's cider vinegar, which is one way of keeping vitamin C going through the winter. These are eggs because we'd start to get eggs in now. They would eat wild bird eggs, but obviously we're not allowed to go raiding the countryside and nicking eggs just to eat them.
So they have chickens then? Or
Yes, oh yeah, chickens were around, yes. Oh yeah. They were actually crossed with an Indian wildfowl to give us the chickens we've got today, because the chickens were then were much smaller. They were more sort of like pheasant-sized. This is spinach. Over here we've got hawthorn, because it eat hawthorn. This can actually be eaten as either a salad vegetable, or you can cook it. Same with this. Crab apple leaves, you can eat those, or cook them. And here we've got some rather sad looking dandelion leaves, which any self-respecting rabbit would turn its nose up at, but they would eat these. And nettles, which again you can eat raw or in a stew. And when they've got the flowers on, obviously they don't sting, thank goodness. This is honey in here. You used to use quite a lot of honey. The Romans used a heck of a lot of honey. I'm surprised any Romans got to the age of 20 without all their teeth dropping out, to be honest. But every single recipe seems to have like half a cup of honey in it. This is a cheese that I made last night. It's a bit like, let me see, it's a cross between cream cheese and cottage cheese. It's quite nice. This is butter, which I also made. You see, it's quite pale because this time of year you've got very light coloured grass. Grass is just starting to grow back in after the winter. New grass, and for some reason, as a result, you get lighter coloured butter from the milk. This bread is made from spelt wheat. And the first kind of cultivated wheat was called einkorn, and from that we got emmer and spelt. Spelt gave a better yield per acre, so they went with spelt. It's a very, very high protein wheat, and people with wheat intolerance can eat this because it's got low in gluten. Very difficult to get bread to rise without yeast. That one I used beer sediment. What's left when you've taken the liquid off, you've got a kind of mush left.
Still got yeast in it.
Yeah, so
yeah.
the yeast helps it to
Right.
rise. This one has got just ordinary yeast in, but it's got cheese and celery seed in it. They found some of this in a chariot burial in North Yorkshire, a plaited loaf, like the remains of this one. Guess what's happened to this one? Yes, they've been helping themselves to that as well. So that's got cheese and celery in it. They also had, this time of year, you'd have a lot of lamb. Again, have some lamb bones, look, doesn't that look delicious? I mean, really. It was obviously very tasty originally. As everybody decided. And we did see wild birds as well. They found actually larks, thrushes, and in Glastonbury they found pelicans. Remains of pelicans. It actually had a nice roast pelican for Sunday lunch.
Well, I've eaten most things, but not that.
It doesn't fit the beak, that's what made me wonder. That's apple rings. Soaked them in
right.
honey and water before I dried them so they didn't go brown.
Oh, right.
They've got a bit chewy and not at
Yeah,
all.
there's one way of keeping apple through the...
But it's one way of keeping the apple through the... It's sort of the Iron Age chewing gum, I think. You can chew it for months, you know. Just the one apple ring, and it lasts a long time. This was, as I say, this was a Romano-British dish. It was originally full. It looks disgusting. What it actually is broad beans, mustard, lovage, wine vinegar, and fish sauce.
But it's absolutely delicious.
Tastes nice, looks disgusting.
You ought to try it, really.
But it's looks horrible. It sounds as though it's going to be horrible because it's got a fish sauce in it, but you can't actually taste the fish sauce. They used to use fish sauce. The Romans put fish sauce in everything. They put it in sweets. They would put it in cakes. There's even a custard type dish that's got fish sauce in it. You think it's going to be absolutely disgusting, but you actually can't taste the fish. It just adds a sort of a tang to the food. It's quite nice. That's about what we've got here at the moment. As I say, this would be your springtime food mainly. Come later in the summer, there'll obviously be more meat, different types of vegetables.
Do they drink beer all the time?
Beer, yes, there were 3 different kinds of beer.
Yeah, breakfast beer, a weak one.
It'll be the first brewing would be your strong beer. That would be like your festival beer, if you like, your feast day beer. Then you'd get the next one, which was your table beer for adults. And then they'd do a third brewing from the same mash, and that was called small beer, and that is for children and sick people.
And my grandfather used to make what he called a small beer. Yeah, and that was one in the morning before he went to work, so he didn't fall over.
Small beer. As I say, I thought, even if it didn't make them feel any better medically, at least it made them feel better.
No, it was a way of purifying water though, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was only about sort of like somebody I knew made some, and it worked out. It was something like 1.5% alcohol or something.
Oh, right.
Really, just enough to kill off any bugs.
Oh,
Thank you. That's my legal ice cream.
Is it possible to taste some of the bread?
Yeah, sure. I'll just put the ice cream down.
It's,
That's tallow.
I thought it might.
Yeah, we haven't worked out how to make the wicks yet. We weren't because obviously they didn't have cotton.
I didn't hear what this was.
That's a crab apple.
sorry. Yeah.
And you can eat it.
Yes, yeah, that's when it's the smaller leaves, especially. It's got a slightly bitter taste to it, but it's got a lot of vitamin C in it. And so is this. After you've just been through a winter with hardly any green vegetables, it's
Thank you very much. Alright. Thank you very much, Marie.
And this has got this it had a lot of iron in it.
I didn't know they weren't stinging when they had the flowers on them.
Oh,
You know, when I first came over, well, just eat it. You know, I grew up in the Canary Islands, and when I came over, I never seen any nettles. And I went through a field full of nettles running with my shorts on. And then when it started hurting, I was in the middle.
Oh,
Did you find out what dock leaves were for?
I wore a parka for the first 3 years I was here. All through the summer. Thank you very much, Mary.